Hello, my name is Eric and it's journaling time once again. For today's prompt, we do it slightly different. I'm going to read a little passage and I'm really targeting people for Gen Z. This is for you. So if you were born in the late 90s, till approximately 2012, you're the newest generation, this is for you. And the hopes is to get these ideas or this question in your head, because what's coming down the pipeline for our future, we're going to need you guys to be at your best game. So just please be patient with me, and I'm going to read a little passage from a book. The book is entitled Sapiens. It's by Yuval Harari. He is a lecturer at the University of Jerusalem, and he has a PhD from Oxford, and he specializes in history, world history. I recommend this book. This is a kind of book I feel everybody of any age really needs to get the proper perspective for the historical context and the situation we are in currently in our world. So let me just read this last little tiny paragraph. And this is in the very last chapter of the book, and the title of the chapter is entitled, or it's the afterword, The Animal That Became God. And this is just the last little bit of it. So please pay attention. Self-made gods with only the laws of physics to keep us company. We are accountable to no one. We are constantly wreaking havoc on our fellow animals and our surrounding ecosystem, seeking little more than our own comfort and amusement, yet never finding satisfaction. Is there anything more dangerous than dissatisfied and irresponsible gods who don't know what they want? That is the very end of the book. And what's important to see this is that my personal opinion, and this is something I tell all my students, that the issues that we're faced with currently in our world, from domestic issues all the way to geopolitical issues, are the first time we've had these. If you think about technology, where we're at in that, some of the world problems we're going with, these are things that previous generations had never had to deal with. Just like generations had to never deal with the atomic bomb and the good and bad to that prior to 1945. We're even on a bigger cusp. So what I'm trying to do with today is I want people, particularly Gen Z, what kind of people do you want to become? What kind of beings do you want to become? What is our relationship to the natural world, to the animal kingdom? How do you want to be in 2 or 3 decades from now when you look back on the world? And remember, I'm putting this into journaling videos because journaling is our personal connection with ourselves, and it's where we start the creative process. And let me just remind you, if I haven't said this before, I always tell my students this: perception orients belief. Belief dictates action. Action shapes the world. So the first thing we have to do is maybe change our perception. The perceptions of my generation, Generation X, or the perceptions of the baby boom generations are not enough for the world problems and the world issues coming that we're facing with. And I don't mean to just focus on the negative. There's also good benefits too. Think of AI, think of genetic engineering. All these things are huge potentials of good and potential bad. And we need to be wrestling with them with a current perspective. And the first thing you have to do is at least start dealing with it. So what I want to do with today's prompt, you can go in any direction you want, but let's try and focus on more of the positive. And I want you to unshackle all potential boundaries of why it can happen. Even if you already can hear maybe your parents or your grandparents or the politicians or the news or whatever it may be, I want you to open up your mind to anything. Even if you can, even when you're writing or even after the writing session, you can already see its limitations. You've already started the process of readjusting your perception or coming up with a potential solution, whatever that may be. We have to start the process. So for today, for Generation Z, but it really pertains to anybody, what kind of beings do we want to be in the future? That is our prompt. And remember, please like, share, and subscribe. Please provide your own personal prompts that you would like me to do, or even topics of directions you'd like me to bring up, because I'm always looking for new ones. And without any further ado, let's get to writing. Okay, everybody. First things first, location, date, time, and mood. Now, just real quick, when we're journaling, as I've mentioned many, many times in all my journaling videos, journaling is a wide spectrum of possibilities. This one, we're literally brainstorming on what a potential world could be. And if this seems crazy, if it seems like, well, how's journaling going to fix anything? We're sparking our interest. We're creatively adjusting what the world could be. We have to start somewhere. And just as a little brief reminder, when I was a kid, the technologies I would see in cartoons or in futuristic sci-fi TV shows or movies have come to being right now. Actually, technologies actually surpassed them. The stuff I saw in the first generation of Star Trek, or the little fun things on the Jetsons. We have those things. So keep that in mind when you're brainstorming in your head, or when you're envisioning the kind of people you want to be in the future. Do you want to have a set of people that are interconnected with the natural world, and then your children can go and see the animals that are still present? Or are they going to be gone? Or the kind of world, and I'm not saying this is bad, but this is definitely in our possibility, that regenerates extinct animals and all the good and bad that goes with that. These are questions that our technology has led us to, and it's not easy to do. So once again, what kind of beings or species do we want to be in the future? And this is for you, Generation Z. Let's do it. Enjoy the process, everybody. Okay. I hope that went well, everybody. I know that when I was writing, some interesting things popped up, and I became very optimistic when I was writing from Gen Z. I have said this many times to all my students and in our conversations in the classroom, sometimes depending if we're talking like about physics or science, the new technologies come up. And in my humble opinion, we are at an inflection point in our society, domestically and also globally. And Gen Z, like I mentioned a moment ago, many new types of issues, good or bad is irrelevant at the moment, that have never been seen before or dealt with are coming to your table, are coming to your lap. And as you mature, we're going to need you guys to be able to sieve through it all, to be able to process it and not just be caught up in rhetoric or perceptions of the past, because that's not going to work anymore. We're at a new level. We're at a new industrial level. We're at a new technological level. Society's at a new level. The world's at a different state than it was even when I was a kid. We need you guys to be as sharp and as brilliant as you can. And I know you can, because I've already seen it going on in the world. I've seen young teenagers take on the gun industry. I've seen a young girl from Scandinavia country take on the climate crisis. Anything is possible. The only thing that's not possible are the things that we never attempt. Thank you, everybody, for this journaling time. I hope you were able to generate something out of it. And remember, journaling is where we connect with ourselves and we connect with our higher selves to be able to deal with all our issues, from personal to even sociological. Anyways, have a nice day, everybody. And remember, enjoy the process. Take care, everybody. See you next time.